Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Reed Option, and I am accompanied today by our beloved NAGA commentary media member, Cole. And we have the Pacific All-Stars and the Atlantic All-Stars facing off in today's All-Star game. Cole, what are your thoughts coming into this game?
Well, I actually think we have some of the most talented conference rosters that we've had in a long time. I also do believe that the Atlantic might finish a complete sweep of the Pacific before they realign to new conferences. But I'm also expecting, headed into this game, a pretty good rushing attack from these running backs and offensive linemen. But since we don't have the Cole curse today, maybe the quarterbacks will shock me. So that's a little bit of my opinion right there.
Definitely a lot of talent on both sides. I can foresee the sweep, as you said. I mean, already 2-0 Atlantic. Although I would say the Pacific defense is just different this year. That defensive line with Christian Grant, Keontae Maddox, and Dre Leathers and Khalid Rashid, it is... You know, I feel bad for Daniel Shaver today. He's going to be subbed out for Tobin or Hull, undoubtedly, at some point in the game. But let's see what the experts have to say about their chances. Oh, it's like, wow. The experts actually give the Pacific a 74% chance to win. And Danny, Dave, and James all agree on a blowout. Joe saying the Pacific will fight hard, but they'll simply run out of ways to contain the Atlantic. So Joe's seeing something everybody else isn't. Joe and Cole on the same side of things here. I think it'll be a close game regardless. I think this might be the most even matchup that we've had in the All-Star game out of the three that we've done so far. And, of course, this being the last between the Pacific and the Atlantic. The past 2 years, fun fact, both conferences have had every team represented at some degree. Every team has a player represented, whether they're a backup or a starter. And I think this will be the last year that happens. I don't think next season with the GFC and the JFC, I don't think 16 teams per side, everyone gets represented. That's just my personal take. But it's very nice to see the whole league represented in what is truly a battle of the Pacific versus the Atlantic.
I definitely agree to that. I think with all those new teams as well, I think it's going to mean that a lot of teams that with talented players are going to get left out. But I'd also like to say that every year that we've watched this Pro Bowl go down, they always say the Pacific is going to win. So I don't really know if we can take their word for it.
You know, they probably pay off the stat guys beforehand.
It's got to be that San Antonio money.
Yeah, they're pumping players and money into this game.
Oh man, well, right off the bat, a kick return shy of the 20, so that will be less than ideal for the Pacific. A couple players down there on the offensive line, and of course, obviously, the quarterback for the Pacific, Mr. Abitangelo, has a clean pocket. Oh my goodness, Gooden, oh my... Gain of 19 yards there as Austin subs in. And, of course, there you can see the defensive line linebackers, Mr. Jacob Frazier, and defensive backs, of course, one of the scariest secondaries in the entire league, mostly forming of the Orlando Flames. Abitangelo back again, and Brooks this time, gain of 39. So far, 2 big plays by Abitangelo. And, of course, they are driving. And while this play is set up with a 3-man to the right, and again they're going to pass. Oh my goodness, Abitangelo taking off. Well, Mr. E, I think Abitangelo is wanting to play every snap for himself at this point.
Oh yeah, last season he got to play Waterboy for a good bit, and I think now that he has a starting spot in the All-Star game over Jalen Washington this time around with Tyler Weber in the QB3 spot, he's just putting the team on his back and showing that he earned that number 1 spot, just like he earned the all the Pacific awards he got and Lee awards this season. Very decorated quarterback that he is now.
100%. And I think we even projected this last season during the Pro Bowl. That he would be one of the more talented quarterbacks, as he is going to...
Just jinxed him right there. I put that on Donovan Dickinson, if I'm being honest, you know?
I mean, nothing new about a Tucson player just dropping the ball, you know? And my goodness, I mean, just the cleanest pocket you could have possibly asked for, but of course, a dropped pass there. So 2 incompletions after starting off extremely hot. So cooled down factor is here. But this time, Gooden, oh my goodness, not even a running lane for him. 4th and goal. This would be a field goal. So I think, obviously, we can quickly say that the pass offense is here to stay for the Pacific.
Oh, yeah. And Abatangelo, once Milwaukee builds around him a little bit more with Jared Ace running things over there in Milwaukee, I think we might see them return to the championship as they were there in Season 1 in their loss to the Austin Stars. But, I mean, if he can get an offensive line around him like he has here, having Caleb Shelton and Blake Fry, Walker Hodge, and Michael Kirkland, I mean, those are some really good blockers, which, as you pointed out, gives you such a clean pocket to work with to throw to your playmakers.
100%. And, of course, I think what a lot of people overlook is, in fact, the offensive line, because while a lot of people do build up, oh my goodness, you can finally see the defensive side for the Pacific. And I think I saw nothing less than a B+ for that D-line. Oh my goodness. Zach, and then, of course, Christian Grant. Oh my goodness. Of course, he is my personal defensive player of the entire league.
He made a big record there with sacks for defensive lineman Christian Grant, totaling 23 sacks in the very short season that we had. 2 forced fumbles and 2 fumble recoveries and a touchdown to his name. I mean, he is just unstoppable. Only 5 of his total touches of a player. So, he had 43 tackles. Only 5 of those were not a sack or tackle for loss.
And that is what you call a franchise player right there. Cornerstone, the epitome of the entire oh my goodness, Michael. Glazing all over Grant, and Michael's Moss is his own wide receiver and defensive back.
Had to push him out of the way, make sure that his teammate knew he had it covered.
He had it all covered. Of course, we talk about this passing offensive line, but as far as running offensive line, I really don't think the Pacific has much for it. I think they're built more for a pass play. And of course, as we watch that off his platform, and that pass will be dropped, I think that was... I don't know who that was.
I think that was Jimmy Burrows. Yeah, the tight end there.
Yeah. And again, another clean pocket, and Brooks, oh my goodness, flag down. Doesn't matter. 1st and goal at the 10. I think Abatangelo definitely got really upset last season in the Pro Bowl when he played probably the best football we've seen in such very few snaps. And of course, as you said earlier, he's going to... What the...
Looks like he just went out of the way there to find his man, Devin Brooks, his own wide receiver 1, trying to make sure he gets some love. Yeah.
1 yard gain, doesn't matter. I think that linebacker's confused, and that'll be a Jamal West touchdown. That is definitely what happens when you put a spy up. They don't know what to do. And of course, now Batangelo's 6 of 9, 124, and a touchdown. And that PAT is good. And of course, anyone who is interested, this is the Las Vegas Stadium. Of course, this is for the base team of the Las Vegas Outlaws, but hopefully in the future at some point we are able to customize these banners, so that way we can at least have a little bit better of showing. But for now, it is the Las Vegas Outlaws Stadium. But I actually really enjoy it. I think this is one of the better stadiums, as Shaver taken down, loss of 8, and who else but Grant. So that'll be his 2nd sack already, and we're not even into the 1st quarter.
Yeah, Shaver's having a lot of time looking up at those banners as he's laying back to the ground, courtesy of Christian Grant.
Absolutely, and then he loads up a deep one, throws a 44-yard bomb to Miller. My goodness. This is definitely why the Pro Bowl is interesting.
These quarterbacks are going out of their way to find their wide receiver ones. Daquan Miller from Shaver and Devin Brooks from Abatangelo. Looks like a little bit of favoritism's coming into play.
100%. Of course, that stat line right there, 1 for 3, but technically he's had over 5 pass attempts, as that'll get him to 50%. A 8-yard gain there, 3rd and 2. DeMarcus Clark now subbing in, the OKC Offensive Player of the Year. Hands off. Taken down. Gain of 1. I think that was McDonough in at the stop. 4th and 1. That'll be nothing but a field goal.
Yeah, it's not really a Pacific defense without Matt McDonough being a huge part of the playmaking. You know, we expect to see a lot of Christian Grant today, but I think it's against McDonough's programming to not pop up in some form in every game he's involved in.
The Terminator does have in his contract that he has to get at least one major stopping play performance. So he'll get one play, and of course that play right now is that 3rd down stop. As Abatangelo again a clean pocket for days, and Levine gain of 9 yards there, 2nd and 1.
It's the absolute. Oh no, you got it.
You're good. You're good.
I was gonna say the absolute guts from Abatangelo this whole time, just throwing it like these defensive backs aren't who they are. Just throwing it to DeMonte Michaels, throwing it to Devin Brooks, throwing it to every single target that he has at his disposal, knowing full well that Elijah Jennings and Trey Edwards, Tyshawn Kennedy, DeMarcus Elder, Sam Brown are all waiting to pick him off, and he is just showing them that. He is who they think he is.
Absolutely. And the fact that they only needed a defense to go all the way as well. I mean, if they had a middle linebacker, they could have won it all, but I don't know what happened there. But it's a gain of 8 for Ramon Gooden. As that'll push him into the 30. 2nd and 2, handoff to Austin. Austin gets trucked, my lord. Loss of 3, Johnson in the stop. And I think, although the Pacific was up, I do believe they were up 20-10 or 20-3 last year. Abatangelo is going to take it himself, gain of 8 yards. It's possibly the slowest quarterback run I've ever seen in my life.
Hey, 2 rushes for 15 yards is, nothing to sneer at. I mean, he's taking this ball and he's making plays in multiple ways.
I mean, I don't know what speaks louder volumes, his MVP or his performance here so far. I mean, 9 of 12, 168, averaging over 16 yards a completion. My lord.
You're putting up almost 200 yards in less than 2 quarters against the best of the best from the Atlantic. This guy's really showing the league what he's going to do next season for the Milwaukee Bucks.
7 draft picks over the course of the next 2 to 3 seasons. High first-round picks as well as Abatangelo going for the touchdown, and that'll be deflected down. Unable to see who that was exactly, but I do definitely think it helps to have the MVP and potential Defensive Player of the Year on your side of the ball, as that field goal is good. And of course, as we are recording this, the championship game has, of course, wrapped up. And of course, the Atlantic now will take over the 25. I will not say who won. I guess
we gotta stay spoiler free. Spoiler free,
As Shaver gets taken down, loss of 7. Christian Grant, oh my goodness. A 3rd sack in under 2 quarters. We will not spoil it, but we will say it was a really close game. A 1-score game and a drop-off pass. Incomplete, 3rd and 17.
1-score game from possibly the championship that had the 2 most combined dominant teams in that season. I don't think we've seen that before where obviously San Antonio went undefeated. Louisville only suffered 1 loss. So having 1 loss to split between 2 teams and Louisville only losing to division rival and one of the best teams in the Atlantic with Oklahoma City. This is the most talented championship we've had, and I think that's the closest score we've had in a championship. So
I think so as well.
Just a true testament to the increasing parity, parity, not something that makes fun of something in this league. Having the Pro Bowl All-Star game be this equally balanced, and having the championship game being that split down the middle, I think it shows what a bright future this league has ahead. Shows that anyone can win, given Louisville being a losing team to say the least in the last 2 seasons, and flipping it around and making it all the way to the championship this season.
Absolutely, and the fact that Louisville went on, well, not on the road, actually. They were the home team. My apologies. The fact that they let Virginia Beach come into their house and beat them, and Darius Mobley had one of the greatest games ever. I mean, that just shows you why they were there. And, of course, on this drive, while we were talking about everything else, Marcellus Walker made his first appearance. Gunter made his first appearance. And they are finally within scoring range. But, of course, as I started that conversation, McDonough made sure to get a stop and do another tackle. So
he heard us speaking, and he is like, nah, the momentum's not lasting.
There is no momentum here. But he is subbed out, so that, shades of Raleigh right there. This will be dropped 4th and 5th. I think that play will forever live in my memory. One dropped pass away from the Raleigh Royals going to the championship, all because one player could not make a catch in the end zone.
And ironically, the player of the two involved in that play that ended up suffering the most in their career is the running back, the guy who dropped it, not the guy who made the bad throw, you know?
No, not at all. In fact, the guy who made the bad throw just went to the championship.
Yeah, just went to the championship game. Very, very different fates from that one, from that horrible play. Yeah.
My goodness. I think this has got to be, as far as this score is in terms of like close talent, there is still that chance the Atlantic pulls off another Gooden. Oh my goodness. 10-yard gain. Pulls off another upset. But I do have to say, I feel more confident for the Pacific knowing they have the quarterback of the year, the defensive tackle of the year is Abtangel finally taken down. That's 7 by McDonald. You've got the quarterback of the year, the defensive lineman of the year, a runner-up for linebacker of the year. You have the running back of the year. I think it should definitely help this specific team to be able to finally win one game out of the 3 chances they had.
Yeah, at the end of the day, your team can be super balanced, but it's the playmakers that give you the victories, and this team has the playmakers of the season 4 NAGA season.
Absolutely. And the fact that finally Gooden is able to start as RB1 for this Pro Bowl, as again, oh my goodness, wide open as Brooks. I think that's kind of the shocking part so far that I've seen about this defense is that as great as the Atlantic secondary is, and that was a dropped pass there, I don't think I've seen... Well, no, we've definitely seen better. We saw Kreutzer perform like Mahomes last season. I don't think we've seen a Tom Brady performance like this before in the Pro Bowl, though.
No, yeah, this one feels different than the previous two. The first one being more of a slow burn, the second one being pretty high scoring, but mostly geared towards the Atlantic. This one's really even on both sides, really composed performances, no turnovers yet. Just shy of halftime. And Lavelle in his first All-Star game appearance making a 50-plus yarder just like that.
Absolutely crushing it, my goodness. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is potentially going to be one of the largest leads should the Pacific score again, even if they only score 3.
Honestly,
we have to look that up. But, oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
I think that hit off McDonough's helmet.
I am 95% sure that did. I am 95% sure. That man turned around and it bounced off his helmet or hand. He was not ready for that one. A Shaver drop pass. I definitely think one of the scarier aspects for Shaver is the fact that he's facing two linebackers out of San Antonio as Miller gets the reception. I think that's probably got to be the most terrifying part. You have to face Grant, but you also have to face two of the best linebackers on the team that just went to the championship off of the backs of their linebacker core.
Yeah, it's like the only thing about the San Antonio defense that makes you not want to curl up in the fetal position and cry yourself to sleep before the game is the fact that their defensive line isn't as scary as their linebacker core. But now you have a scary defensive line and a scary linebacker core paired together, and it's like you gotta feel for Daniel Shaver. Like I said at the beginning, you really gotta feel for him.
I mean, it's the second he takes a snap, Christian Grant's throwing the left guard and the right guard all over the place. Like, it doesn't even matter. And, all right. Miller with the touchdown.
Miller laying out his body for that. That was a crazy catch. Just barely past the last defensive back. Great connection there from the two Delaware players.
And down only by 3 now. So once again, the Atlantic potentially coming back down 16-6. My goodness. Of course, last year's score was 27-22. Michaels returns it up to the 18. So we're not too far off. Technically, the Pacific has to get 3 more field goals. Jesus, okay. 2 more field goals to replicate their score.
What's going on here? DeMonte Michaels in at quarterback. They're switching things up here.
Yeah, what?
I didn't expect anything like this. Looks like we got DeMonte Michaels. Yeah. Definitely a swatted pass there. It's like they're playing around a bit on the Pacific side.
Just say, guys, we got this. Don't worry.
Can't wait to see the next QB run. Yeah.
Gooden trying his hardest. I guess we'll find out come the third quarter how serious this is. As that will be the end of that. Never mind, they snapped it off in time. Weirdos. I personally wouldn't do that, but sure.
I think that was Escobar's only punt. You know, he really had to get his playing time. Yeah. Really even.
I would have laughed if that would have been a punt return touchdown.
Tyshawn Kennedy, I mean, hey, crazier things have happened.
Real. You're not wrong. All right, here we go. So the Atlantic now will receive. And of course, obviously once they give the ball over to the Pacific via kick or turnover, we'll find out if Abatangelo wants to play quarterback again.
Yeah, and I think the weirdest part was they subbed in Michaels and not Washington or Weber. Definitely pulling some Wildcat type stuff.
They said that is a 2-minute warning. They're not going to get anything. Here you go. Poor quarterbacks. QB2 never gets any love. As Clark off on the races. Oh my goodness, just stiff arming number 2. Josiah Bell subbing in. Sam Jordan subbing out after getting demolished. The Atlantic slowly but surely moving forward. Pitch it out to Bell again to a running back. And Bell will get all 10 yards. So I think they now figured out kind of the game plan here. As a pass game wasn't really working out too well, but then again, they do go for a pass. And that will be a catch. Oh my goodness. Shaver to Sheffield. Huh.
3 plays in a row from running backs. Or was that 4? Every play to a running back this drive.
Actually, yeah, that's 4. That's all 4. And this will make it 5th. Oh my goodness. Gain of 4 yards. I think they definitely took a page out of the Pacific and decided to run and never touch the ball again to a wide receiver. Go! As Clark, and this might be a touchdown. Oh my goodness, never mind. Save. The speed.
I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
They would. 100%. Again, just the sheer power from the run game right now. Sheffield in the back, never mind.
Mixing it up.
Shaver. He throws it to Sheffield anyway. Oh, I love this. I love this so much. Michael Wells subbing out. DJ Rice subbing in. And again. And can he? Nope, he will not. Gain of 3 yards. 3rd and goal. This might be the first ever running back only drive outside of San Antonio's season last year, where they ran the ball 57 times, and that's a touchdown by Bell.
What a drive from the Atlantic.
Oh my goodness. And just like that, Pacific goes down once again.
Joey Visconti, first ever non-Nate Gilroy Atlantic kicker.
This is true.
Doing a good job not missing today.
I think the study for the Nate Gilroy fall-off will be intense.
Yeah, a lot of factors, you know, poor coaching, you know, just wear and tear on the leg from being relied on too heavy.
2 seasons in a row. The fact that their rookie either threw nothing but touchdowns and Gooden charging forward, gain of 25. He said, I can do that, but better. My goodness. The rookie either throwing nothing but touchdowns or interceptions. There was a Jameis Winston effect there. So DeMonte Michaels is still in at quarterback. Gain of 10 yards there.
I'm just anticipating a quarterback run where he gets subbed out, but that might never happen. And oh, there we go! There we go!
Oh my goodness! Right
8 yard, like a rocket.
But no sub.
No sub. They gotta do it again.
Monte Michaels, 1 rush to 57 receiving yards. And 0 completed passes until now. Gooden. Oh my goodness. A Mack truck that man is. 1st and 10. Donovan Dickinson. This is the San Antonio special. I do think San Antonio got in the book and said, hey, listen, y'all suck. Let's use some real playbooks.
I was going to say, we have offensive play calling from Vast, from the Sacramento Express, and defensive from Onyx, from the Tucson Vipers. And, of course, on the Atlantic side, offense is the Delaware Pioneers, that is Pasta himself. And the defense is Oklahoma City, Mr. Rico Suave. But San Antonio, you know, I'm sure after that championship game, they were like, you know, let's take some pages out of their past, looking at last year's playoff run.
Oh my God. Oh, I'm sorry to cut you off. That was bad. That was wide right. Hey, to be fair, San Antonio did win in the wild. Michaels is, oh my God, demolished. Loss of 8 by Mr. Rashad Elam. You know, maybe they think if they pull the Wildcat, they win. Maybe, you know, it was an overtime win, but still.
Oh, surprised that wasn't an interception. Yeah.
So this will be a field goal attempt. Man, if the Pacific wins, I'm just saying, maybe Michaels needs to be the quarterback.
We gotta let them cook. You know, Michaels can do one thing that Washington can't, and that's catch. So it's you know, triple threat quarterback.
Triple threat. You know, he pitches it out to the running back, and they somehow wind up throwing the ball somehow, some way, in a game that doesn't allow that. You know what I'm saying?
Just every play Philly special. You know, every single play.
Every single play. And from here on out, I think Grant and Leathers, McDonough, and of course Wells are just going to try for a fumble 6 recovery.
Oh!
On was a stiff arm. We'll never know who that was, though, sadly. Unfortunately, that stiff-armed person will have to remain unnamed. We'll never know who it is.
Yeah, I think the footage got blurry. Yeah.
Yeah, man, it got cut. That's crazy.
We just skip over that part of the broadcast.
Yeah, we're just going to cut right... Like, oh, man, that's crazy. Weather outage, am I right?
There's like a black bar on the screen where that unnamed player was.
That unnamed player was... The start of that entire play is just a black bar. Shaver back to pass. Shaver throws before Grant can get there. McDonough with the stop. And now we're heading into the fourth quarter, only separated by 1 point. And this will be interesting because if the Atlantic gets a touchdown, that's 8 points, which means the Pacific would somehow have to find a way to score a touchdown and get a 2-point conversion. Shaver back to pass. No pressure has all day. Walker unable to break that tackle. Gain of 3. Chantrell Haywood subbing in. Kayvon Green subbing in for Walker. 5 wide set. 3rd and 4. This is for it all. And Walker is somehow okay.
For being Atlantic wide receiver of the year, they really didn't apply a lot of pressure to Marcellus Walker there.
Not at all. And the fact that he subbed out and then ran back on the field, without anyone knowing, that's crazy. Shaver with intense pressure. Clark. Gain of 4 yards. DJ Rice subbing in for Matt McDonough. Bell subbing in for Clark. Daniel Shaver slowly but surely moving back up in the passing stats, starting off as 1 for 3. Pitches it out to Bell. Bell with a huge stiff arm. Tackle forward. Gain of 11. And oh my God. Okay. We have 2
lot of
subs and a wide receiver sub. Hands off to Clark, and that'll go literally nowhere. Loss of 5 there, 2nd and 15. That is, of course, Samuel Collins. DJ Rice subbing in. Sheffield subbing back in. Back to pass is Shaver. Shaver, I don't know how he wasn't hit, and that'll be intercepted by Lane. And oh my goodness, Lane. Oh, number 21. Let the block up. But that'll be back at the 20.
You know, if you would have told me that Shaver would have thrown an interception before DeMonte Michaels, I would have thought you were joking, you know?
Oh my, what a dot. Oh, what a dot. This is insane. I'd never thought Michaels would be outperforming a literal quarterback at this point. But Gooden also outperformed a quarterback, so.
That is true. The wide receiver connection is just there.
It's just, you know, like whenever you run routes with your boy, you know, you just, hey, what if I threw to you one day?
Who better to be in the mind of a wide receiver than a wide receiver?
100%. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can call all the hot routes you need. Gooden in the backfield, 10 for 73, 2 for 29. He's got, oh my goodness, the speed. My Lord, gain of 7. That cutback was insane.
I think I saw him break the sound barrier there. I think if you zoom in on the screen in the replay, see a little boost behind him.
A little boost as Dickinson doing Tucson things, losing yardage. Darius Roger seeing a rare outing. Sam Brown subbing in for DeMarcus Elder. Back to passes Michaels, and Michaels to Brooks, 24-yard gain. Donovan Dickinson, Ramon Gooden subbing in. Michaels is 4 for 8 for 54 yards. This is a Bronson-type stat line. And Gooden off to the left. Oh, had a lane gain of 2. 2nd and 8. Dickinson subbing in. Elder subbing back in. This is crazy. I didn't think we'd ever see something like this in the Pro Bowl. Hands off to Dickinson. Dickinson with the lane. Oh, gain of 4 yards. Darius Rogers, Trey Edwards subbing in. I think if the Pacific can just score here, they might have a chance. What do you think, E?
I think if they score here, it might be game. I mean, I might be speaking a little too highly, but it looks like they're doing their best to just chew the clock away. BJ Austin subbed out for Darius Rogers for a more power back approach here. So they definitely, they have something in mind. They have the ball possession guys, no receiving backs in play. Having DeMonte Michaels mix it up with the Wildcat. Possibly have some QB runs in there. Just all ball security. No mistakes.
Oh my goodness, Dickinson. Oh.
That was the angriest run I've ever seen from Donovan Dickinson.
That was reminiscent of Ramon Gooden's 256-yard game against OKC. Oh my gosh.
And Atlantic sees the writing on the wall and they call their first timeout.
Oh. They do, and Gooden almost had a touchdown. He is synonymous with touchdowns here. It's Dickinson subbing in. I apologize. Actually, no. Wait, was that Gooden? I swear that was Gooden. Or was that Rogers?
That was Gooden. That was Gooden.
Oh, Dickinson charging in. Touchdown. Darius Rogers, Ramon Gooden coming back in. And the Pacific goes up by 6. The Atlantic with 1 timeout left. The PAT is good. From here on out, it is up to the Pacific defense with the Defensive Player of the Year to stop them. Wow. I think this is possibly the closest game we've ever had.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if this thing... I mean, it's not going to go overtime, but it'd be cool if it did, because I just want to see more.
If somehow they could score a field goal, Michaels throws an interception, and then they kick another field goal, it'd be... Oh! Number 4, almost with the interception. Gain of 11. That's a 2-minute warning right there. And this will be an all-pass game from here on out. Daniel Shaver, excellent in that, by the way, winning quarterback of the year for the Atlantic. Wide open is the wide receiver of the year. Oh, my goodness. I don't know what type of game plan that is, but whatever that is, it seems like a Josh McDaniels type. My goodness. Tonight. Maybe a 5-man set. Shaver back to pass. Oh, taken down, loss of 7. And Dre Leathers finally getting in there. It's been absent all game. 2nd and 17. And here we go, E. This is the pressure drive. Shaver back to... Oh, wow.
Like the offensive line wasn't even there. Like it wasn't even there.
Oh, my goodness.
3rd and 24. Look at the press.
Oh, McDonough right in there. Oh, my goodness. Off his back foot. Sleep. Oh,
his first catch of the game.
Oh, my goodness. Off his back foot in triple coverage.
But no more timeouts left for the Atlantic.
No more timeouts. But they have some of the best wide receivers. Go! Here we go. Shaver back to pass. 3-man rush. Oh, deflected down. I think that was Wells. Daniel Shaver, a legacy drive for the Pro Bowl. Kritzer had one, though he lost. Shaver back to pass. Oh my goodness, Miller left wide open. Oh my goodness, this could be it. The Atlantic could take it all, and the Pacific gives themselves no time. Daquan Miller, 6 for 166. Step aside, Walker. Shaver.
Trent.
Oh my.
Iced. Although Pacific has 3 timeouts in 24 seconds to drive the field, Shaver just putting on a clinic there. 20 for 29, over 300 yards.
The Pacific can't escape. Run from it, hide from it. Destiny arrives all the same. Jesus Christ.
Sometimes Destiny's name is Jordan Trent. Least amount of, well, second least amount of receiving yards in this receiving corps for the Atlantic at 748. And wow.
Here we go, back to pass. Wide left. Oof, unfortunate. At this point, it will be complete shocker if they are able to get this field goal. That is all they need. Michaels, motion a man to the right. Number 13, of course, Ellis. Back to pass, 4-man rush. He's lobbing it. That was almost intercepted. 3rd and 10. Took 3 seconds off the clock.
Tried to find his teammate, potentially at the cost of the game.
100%. I understand the trust, but my goodness, back to pass, lobbing it. Oh my goodness. And this could be the game. It's unfortunate the Pacific decided to take an L again because they wanted to play the Wildcat game, but back to pass. What in the world? Dropped pass. Oh my goodness. And that will be the game here.
Barring a fumble 6 or pick 6, yeah.
Very true. Ooh. Almost. This will definitely be a run play here. Actually, I'm sorry. Never mind, my bad. I was about to say we're in the 2-minute warning. They will...
Little past the 2-minute warning, yeah.
A little bit past the 2-minute warning. They're going to run it again. This will be the game here. And they do. And that'll be it. The Pacific. My goodness. Can't run from it. And unfortunately, Abatangelo just getting pulled.
Yeah.
So,
DeMonte Michaels 4 for 12. But if you look at the team leaders, Abatangelo 11 for 19 with over 200 yards. You know, him and Shaver both pulling up with the 112 ratings. No mistakes from Abatangelo. The one mistake, of course, coming from Daniel Shaver to Tyrus Lane. But player of the game, I mean, had Abatangelo been in the whole time, maybe Abatangelo. Devin Brooks, fantastic job from him, over 114 yards. I want to say Daquan Miller, but I don't know. Who do you think gets player of the game today?
Me personally, I would definitely have to say it is the wide receiver. He just, man, almost 200 yards. Now, anti-player of the game has to be Michaels for playing quarterback and basically selling the game, as well as the defensive side just going on a 3rd and 24 and having everything in their hands and then letting up a 25-yard pass to seal the game. It's just inexcusable. I think this is the side of the Pacific that shows up. You don't have a lot of players that are used to playoff games. You don't have a lot of players who are used to championship games. Meanwhile, in the Atlantic, you've had multiple teams reach the championship of the conference. You've had multiple teams exchanged for the playoffs, and you've had 3 teams go to the championship game. Meanwhile, the Pacific has been run by San Antonio, so it does show up in the Pro Bowl. There's a lot of players that, they're able to perform at a really high level when it matters, and that's why the Atlantic has completed the sweep, and that is why the new conference alignment will hopefully bolster the two sides. But for now, you have the 2008 Patriots on the Pacific, and then you have the greatest ever assembled professional rosters ever on the Atlantic side.
Yeah, and I'll be interested to see who comes out on top after the realignment of the GFC and the JFC. I mean, a lot of exciting stuff to come next season, season 5 of the NAGA. It's hard to believe it's only been 5 seasons, and, it's progressed so much since that season 1 where it was just the pasta chef with some created teams with, no interworkings of, regulations between up to 32 owners. It's crazy to see how far the league's come, and it's fun to see how these teams interact in huge games and all these players. It's gonna be exciting. I can't wait for the next season. Can't wait for the potential new owners coming in. Obviously, if anyone's watching this and is not in the league, please feel free to join in on the fun with us. If this game is anything, that you guys would like to see, I mean, it certainly was interesting. And that's just kind of how things go here.
It definitely was. And I'd like to make a comment before we end this off. I think, how do you lose the sack and turnover game and still win? I think that's been Pacific's problem every single year. Is the defense constantly shows up rush yards. They whoop the heck out of them. It's just unfortunate they decided to play, Wildcat. It just shows, like I said, when you have teams and players that constantly change out, go to big games, perform in the big games, and then you have teams that don't, it shows. But I'd also like to make a mention before we sign off is that the expansion, as far as the GFC, Virginia Beach and San Antonio will remain as separate, as well as I do believe Louisville is actually moving over to the JFC. So San Antonio and Louisville facing off tomorrow night, last night, apologies, but they will now become unable to ever do that again. So San Antonio drew the short straw, and I do believe they are facing Louisville if this conference realignment announcement is to be true. But I do definitely think we'll have a lot better teams. I think as far as the new teams go, hopefully some owners will pick those up. We also, we forgot to mention, for anyone not in the loop, as well as if you're new watching this and want to join, we actually have some rebrands and we have some potential future relocations. The Memphis Liberty are now the Memphis Marauders. Tucson Vipers went ahead and did a rebrand as well. And of course, we have 2 other owners who are looking to relocate, but of course, we will leave that for them to announce that time when it comes. So if you want to join, feel free. We have a lot of wonderful teams, wonderful owners, and of course, now new parity, as this new expansion is going to shake a lot of things up. No longer will teams be able to dominate the conference and simply run it back every year. So I'm excited. Any other words of wisdom from you, Mr. E?
With all the team owner talk and rebrand talk, I also like to point out, 32 teams means we need another broadcaster. It's, Cole and I and Pasta are the only 3 recorders right now. We had one at the beginning of this season in addition to us, but he decided this wasn't for him. I think it would be really useful to have 4 commentators or just recorders, just simmers. Games don't take an awful long time, as you could tell. And of course, we have the GFL along with this, which is the developmental league. A lot of exciting things there with 2 new teams. So a total combined 10 total teams being added means that many more games. If you're watching this, you don't want to own a team, you just want to make some content with us, please feel free to reach out, because we definitely have a full plate next season, which is exciting. But of course, it's also a daunting task ahead, as more of our free time will be dedicated towards recording these really fun and twist-filled matchups.
I completely agree with that. Yes, more media members, please. The more we get, the better content. And of course, obviously, you never know. You might be one of the best commentators ever, but dethroning E like that is not going to be easy. So I think my final words for today, we appreciate everyone joining in for this season. This is, of course, the final game of Season 4. We appreciate everyone who's joined. We do appreciate everyone who came by, even if you left. And, of course, obviously, we are excited for a new season, more teams, as he said. And, yeah, I think Season 5 will be even better. But, again, if we could just get more media members, that would be awesome. Just reach out to Pasta, reach out to me, reach out to E. Feel free to try to work some things out. We don't need major commitment, maybe even a 1 or 2 game type of person, just something to help. But I think that's about it for me. More announcements from San Antonio personally will be coming in the coming weeks. But that's about it for me, Mr. E.
And I don't think we could have ended it a better way. Those are great words. Sign off. My name is Reed Option, joined by Mr. Cole. And we always appreciate you guys watching us here at the NAGA. We will see you next season. Take care.